What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today I've got for you one story from r/relationships, and it's a very, very interesting one. This woman's husband comes in to a lot of money, and as a result, he asks her to quit her job or potentially not return to her job after COVID. This was back in 2022, and instead become a housewife to their 3 children. Now, she absolutely loves her job and can't quite believe that he's saying this to her. She works as a chef, long hours, but she loves it and it gives her a lot of purpose. The crazy thing is, he says that if she doesn't quit, he will leave her. Now, there are a couple of updates to this story as well before we get to the conclusion. This is a finished story, so we know what happens in the end. So sit back, relax, make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you're not already, and drop a like on this one if you do go on to enjoy it. Let's get into the post. My husband wants me to quit my job now we have children and he makes enough money. I love my work and the thought of being a housewife is torture to me. If I don't quit, he's leaving me. This was originally posted on January the 16th, 2022. For anonymity, I can't go into details, but my husband, who is 34, has developed something in IT that's well known and it made him rich. I am a 38-year-old woman. I'm a chef, and I make probably 1/100th of what he does. It doesn't matter for me, however, because I love my job. We have a great life together. We had our first child, a baby girl, 3 years ago, and our twin boys are 9 months old. I have a few months left of my maternity leave, and with the country closing up again because of the new Omicron variant, I started getting worried that my workplace won't take me back. Remember, guys, this was posted in the height of COVID. I voiced my worries to my husband a couple of days ago, and he just shrugged and said it's not like we needed the money. I was confused, and I told him that I knew that it wasn't about the money, but he just shrugged. I was a bit annoyed, to be honest, because I thought he didn't think it would be a big deal if I became out of work. Yesterday, I was still thinking about it, so I decided to talk to him again. He was confused and told me that I should instead be happy that I could spend more time with my babies. And he asked me why I insisted on working when we have 3 small children and he made enough money for both of us. He didn't like me working 4 to 5 evenings a week, including 1 or 2 weekends a month. I told him that I love my job and I'm good at it. I've been doing it for almost 20 years now, and that just the thought of not doing anything for the rest of my life is suffocating. He was visibly upset by then, and he accused me of loving my job more than my babies and him. I could always cook at home for the family, and if I was worried I'd lose my independence, he could transfer the same amount I earn from my job to my private account monthly. Oh my goodness me, this guy just does not get it at all. I started crying, and he kissed and hugged me and told me that he loved me, but he's been thinking of this since our girl was born, and he didn't like me coming home late at night. So, I needed to choose between my job or being a family. I was startled. Did he mean it as an ultimatum? He did. He actually wants me to be a housewife or we go our separate ways. I went to my mum's place first thing this morning. She listened to me talking and crying, but when I finished, she wasn't indignant on my behalf, like I expected. She actually went silent for a while, and then she asked me to think carefully about my next move. If we got divorced, I need to think about my babies. I will never be able to give them the life their dad is giving them, and I might lose them because of it. Is it worth it to change their lives so drastically and have them live in 2 separate houses? All that for a job. I've worked my whole adult life, and I just could see this as an early retirement maybe. Many dreamed of this. Why couldn't I enjoy it? I was not expecting my mum to say these things. She's always been this strong, independent woman who raised us to be independent and taught me to never rely 100% on anyone other than myself. Hearing her say all of that made me question my feelings. Before I met her, I was totally sure I was right, being hurt and angry, but now I think maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe my husband's request wasn't that unreasonable. But if that's the case, why do I feel like my heart is swollen in my throat? Why does it feel like he made this ultimatum because he knew he has power and he's using it? Throw any suggestions or advice my way and please be honest. Not rude, but honest. because I feel I'm wronged here, and I'm having a hard time thinking from my husband's perspective. Okay, now as I said earlier, there are 2 updates to come on this one, but first of all, I've got to give my thoughts as to what I've just read, and I want you guys to do it as well in the comments down below. See if you agree with what I'm about to say. And don't cheat, by the way. Don't just leave a comment at the end of the episode when we know the full story and we know the conclusion. Do it now. Now, my initial reaction to this is, OP, you are completely in the right here, and I can't quite believe that your husband doesn't understand what you're saying at all. Like, yeah, you've got loads of money. Well done. That is great. And fair play to your husband for inventing something that has made him a lot of money. You know, that's everyone's dream. So well done to him. However, if he doesn't understand or can't compute that working is not just about money for a lot of people, actually, it's about purpose, like drive, their livelihood, etc. They also probably may love it. Like, if you love being a chef, then who cares about the money? Like, you're at this stage now where money doesn't matter, which is very, very rare and amazing to be in that spot. But that doesn't just mean that you then no longer want to work if you love your job and you get up wanting to do it every day and it gives you purpose. I don't think that the majority of people want to retire. Now, this is a very privileged thing to say, but I don't think that the majority of people, if offered the chance and they love their job, would be like, actually, yeah, okay, I'm going to retire. Like, if they said, like, if they were given unlimited money or sufficient money, I don't think they actually would retire, which is interesting to say. I think a lot of people obviously would, but, you know, me right now, if you offered me the same amount of money that I'm getting for doing this, but I don't have to work again anymore, I don't have to make YouTube videos or episodes, then I obviously would not take that deal. I don't know what I would do with my time. Like, that's the thing. And I know this is coming from obviously a privileged position, and I'm sure that the majority of people wouldn't say this. However, I'd have a lack of purpose. I wouldn't know what to do. So for me, doing this stuff, YouTube and, you know, podcasts or whatever, it's not just about the money. I did this for years, like 10 years as a hobby before I made even a single penny. So if that doesn't prove that it's not about the money, I don't know what does. But yeah, I think it's probably the same for a lot of people. It's important to have a purpose, and for a lot of people, their work is a very important part of their life. Now, with that all being said, I think in this actual situation, it's very, very tough for you to know what to do, and I actually do get what your mum is saying. Now, I agree with you. I didn't expect your mum to say this, but I think she's coming at it from a more logical perspective, saying, well, look, if you do get divorced, you're in a way competing with your husband, I suppose. Well, actually, wouldn't you take half of his money? I'm not sure how it would work in terms of your country that you're in, etc. In the UK, you would get half of his estate, so you'd be completely fine. But yeah, I don't know. Is it worth divorcing just because you don't want to give up on your work? I don't know. It's tough. Like, think of the effect it would have on your kids as well. It's a tough job. It's tough to know what to do. I think you have to back yourself though, and come back to your husband and say, what are you talking about? Like, maybe I could reduce my hours a little bit or something, but I love my job. That gives me so much purpose. Of course, I love my family. I love you, but like, I need to keep working. Anyway, with that being said, let's see what happened next. This is the first of actually 3 updates. I was wrong. There are 3 updates in this story, and it was posted just 2 weeks or so after the original. So I posted here about 2 weeks ago about my husband not wanting me to go back to work after maternity leave. I got a lot of really good advice. I just want to clarify some things about my post that many seem to have misinterpreted. I'm sorry my language wasn't very clear. I don't work 4 to 5 days plus weekends. I work 35 to 45 hours per week in total, and sometimes it's during the weekend. A stay-at-home mum isn't normal in my country. Daycare is free and we don't have nannies. I'm saying this because I want you to understand why I was taken aback about this whole situation. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to stay-at-home mums. He can't get sole custody just because of his wealth or because of my work hours. It doesn't work like this here, thank God. But I'm thankful for those who express worry about that, because I know this is the sad reality in other parts of the world. So then the update. I've had long talks with my husband about all of what happened, trying to understand his POV. I've told him that I can't see myself as a housewife ever, but that I am willing to start looking for jobs with better hours, or maybe I can finally start my own restaurant. That is sensible to me. Yeah, I didn't say that in my reaction, but yeah, if you could, well, actually, no, I did. If you can reduce your hours or maybe find something else that you still love, that has fewer hours, maybe you can find a compromise. Anyway, let's continue. I could start searching for a location in office buildings and start a lunch spot so that then I don't need to work evenings and weekends. He didn't seem happy at all with that suggestion. He asked me why I'm so insistent on going back to work. He said these last months have been the happiest of his life, coming home from work every day to his family, and that he thought I was happy too. I am. I love being with my babies all day, but just because I'm enjoying my maternity leave doesn't mean I don't want to go back to work. In fact, I'm enjoying every minute now because I know it's not permanent. We had a row. He said he's always felt that I'm scared of him making much more money and that I'm scared of being dependent on him. So if I'm insisting on working because I don't want to be dependent, he could pay me 10 times what I earn to stay home. That is so patronizing, goodness me. I started crying and I told him I'm not going to be a housewife. I don't accept ultimatums, so he should do what he felt fit. He said he's tired of going around feeling that his wife is intimidated by his success. He's doing this for both of us. I have to admit that I am sometimes scared of him having more power than me. He said it's all in my head, but really, would he ever dare to ask me to quit my job if he didn't feel he had the power to do it? Could I ask him to quit his job with that same ease? There's no denying the power dynamics in our relationship, and I have all the right to be scared of it. So there was no progress really, and no matter how much I explain myself, he doesn't seem to understand me. And he probably feels the same way with me. It feels like we're on different levels. I've suggested counselling. He said he'll think about it. Now we're just civil to each other, but we don't talk much, and we haven't been intimate since I first brought up going back to work. I love him, and I miss him. I don't want it to end, but the ball is in his court now. My mum is very angry with me. We haven't spoken for a week. I don't know what to do with her either. Alright, let's just get straight into the second update. This was posted 4 days after the previous one on January the 31st, 2022. Let's see what happened. My husband and I talked yesterday for the first time in 2 weeks, and he was the one who initiated the conversation. I saw my chance to try to find out why he's behaving like this, and at the same time make sure that he knows that I'm not backing up. I told him that while I'm enjoying my maternity leave, the thought of it being for the rest of my life suffocated me. I suffer from severe claustrophobia. I don't know if it's got anything to do with this. I asked him why he's doing this. He knew my job was important to me, so why was he making this impossible request when he knew it would mean the end of us? I said, if you're having second thoughts about our marriage and want an out, please just tell me the truth. He became very upset and accused me of trying to gaslight him. He said his reasons are legit. There's nothing wrong with wanting his wife to be there for her family, and the children won't stop needing me just because they go to school. I started crying. Sorry, I'm a crybaby. And I told him if this is over, he should know it's all on him. He started yelling, no, it was because I'm too stubborn and too self-involved to actually take a second and think about his wishes. I wanted to leave because I couldn't be with him anymore, but he said that it would be more convenient if he did. He's moved to our city apartment. I feel lost and hurt. I love him so much, but I don't think continuing this relationship is healthy for either of us. My heart is breaking for my children. I don't know what to do. For now, I'll just sit tight and wait for him to send me the divorce papers. Thank you again for the help and advice. It helped a lot. P.S. Mum was here yesterday. We talked a lot and she's finally getting on my side. I knew that when it came to it, she'd be on my side, and I'm so grateful. Okay, and then just 10 days later, we got this final update titled, We Are Separating. Thank you everyone for the support. My husband and I are separating. This is what he wants. As I suspected, this was more than just me going back to work. He's been feeling resentment towards a lot of things about me. Many of them I can't change, and the rest I don't want to change. It's not his or my fault. We're just not compatible with each other anymore. I still have 14 months with my babies. Afterwards, all children are big enough for shared custody. I'm staying in the big house for now, but after divorce, I'm going to move back to the city. I've been talking to my boss about my job. She'll help me find a schedule around having the children, so maybe I'll work lunch hours the weeks I have them. My ambition is still to open my own thing, but maybe that's a little bit further in the future now. I still love him. I thought we were inseparable, but when he started resenting the very same things he loved about me, I knew this was hopeless. It sucks big time, and it hurts like hell, but here we are. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Tough one. Not entirely sure what to say. It's a shame that this situation has happened, obviously. But I think one thing that maybe is a slight positive, I don't know, it makes me feel a little bit better about the whole situation, is that it wasn't just the fact that he didn't want you to go back to work and that was it. That was the reason for the divorce. Like, that would have been crazy. I feel like if that was the case, it would make me concerned about successful men in general if they're acting like this. I know some people do that, but from out of nowhere, actually, I don't want you to work anymore. Be a stay-at-home housewife for the rest of your life. It seemed a lot. The fact that he was clearly, or had clearly just fallen out of love with you is, I suppose it's a little bit easier for me to stomach. Not that this story is about me at all. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, from the moment he said, no, I don't really care about your job. I mean, that's what he was implying, right? I don't care about your job. I don't care about your purpose. I just want you to make me and the children happy, and that's it. Not care about yourself. And you were like, well, obviously that's not going to happen. This is kind of the only conclusion I could see. Like, it has to be this way. I don't think you've made the wrong decision at all, by the way. I'm sure you've made the right decision. And fair play to you for not, succumbing to what he wanted, which I think would have been the easier thing to do, being like, okay, I don't want this at all, but, I don't want to get divorced. I still love him. I want to stay with my family. So fair play to you. I mean, it's interesting what he said, right? I want my kids to have a happy family. And if you won't give that to them, then I'm divorcing you. Okay, well, that's not how you have a happy family normally. I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of people stay together that don't want to stay together, and that can have effects on their family. But ultimately, I would suggest that the majority of happy families don't have divorced parents. Maybe I'm wrong saying that, but I think that if you still loved each other, which clearly I don't think he actually did love you, let's be realistic anymore, which is tough, then you would have stayed together. But yeah, I don't think this is as much about the kids. He just seems like a very controlling person. Like, when OP said, if this is over, you should know it's all on him. And he said, no, actually, it's because you're too stubborn and too self-involved to take a second and think about his wishes. That is crazy. Like, I agree. He's got this position of power that he knows he has. And he's like, you know what? No, I want everything my way. And ultimately, good on you, OP, for not giving that to him. There we go, guys. That is going to do it for this one. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about this story in general, what you think about my thoughts, whether you agree or disagree. I've said a couple of things there that I think some of you will disagree with, which is always good. That's the beauty of the YouTube and Spotify and whatever. Comment section. Discussion is good. Difference of opinion is good. Imagine if we all felt the same way about these stories. How boring would that be? Right? No one would watch this. Ultimately, I'm just going to say what I feel about these stories, and if you guys disagree with me, that's all good. It's up to you. But yeah, get in the comments and let me know. I love going through pretty much as soon as I've posted the episode, or 20 to 30 minutes afterwards when you guys have listened to it all, and seeing what you guys have to say. That's it for this one. If you loved it and you love me, subscribe. If you're new to the channel, hit this up here to watch some more, and I will catch you on the next one.